Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode in the Gotta Cast 'Em All series, in which I attempt to cast every single game of Starcraft 2 that I can get my hands on in order to get better at casting. If you couldn't tell, my voice is still a little scratchy, but we're gonna just power through it. I've got the mute in case I need to cough or anything. But, introducing our red Protoss player, spawned into the top left corner of Cyber Forest LE, we have Yoke. And down in the bottom right corner, our blue Zerg player, known as XOURCE. So this is a Silver League game. Like I usually mention, I pull my games off of Spawning Tool. You just go to the replay, spawningtool.com. It's a great website for analytics and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. That one and SC2 replay stats is what I use the most. But like I said, these guys are in silver, so I'm not exactly sure what to expect. The hatch first coming down on the Zerg side gateway. Another his first pylon. Finishing up right there. Let's see. I'm assuming he's going to make a zealot to... He's got it rallied right here, so he'd make a zealot and then fill in this one gap so the Zerglings can't come in. He's going to chrono it out. Very nice. We do see a Cyber Core on the way as well. That's going to enable Stalkers and Adepts out of the gateway. And he is taking a second gas. And like I say all the time, I'm a Zerg main, so I don't really know Protoss return build orders. I'm not sure if double gas is standard. I mean, it depends on what you want to build. Protoss units are generally pretty expensive anyway, that's the thing. Down in the base of the Zerg, however, we do see a little bit of cheese from the Protoss probe. He actually managed to put an assimilator onto the Zerg's gas, which is going to not enable the Zerg player to take that gas geyser. Not like it's that much of a problem. Like I said, I was kind of confused about the double gas on the Protoss side. But generally, that's not really something that Zerg needs to do, is heavy gas. They need pretty heavy minerals at the beginning of the game. So he's going to try, maybe send these Zerglings over to take that out when he... whenever he wants, I guess. It's not like a threat right now, but the only thing is this is actually... if I could do this without forcing the camera to move. I wish I could. This is giving the Protoss player vision into that main base. So we are going to see Stalker out of the gateway. Another one coming out right now. Trying to take out this Overlord. XOURCE is going to be moving it, not manually moving it. It's actually just running away because it's being shot at. So he is going to lose that Overlord. If you look it up, his supply up in the top, it just dropped from 42 to 36. And he's at 34 right now, so he is going to need to make a new one immediately. That is pretty important that you don't get supply blocked as a Zerg at the beginning of the game. Those Overlords are pretty important not to lose. We do see a lot of gateways forge also. We got 3 gateways, the Observer coming out of the Robo, a couple more Stalkers into the base. Also, no expansion yet. We do see the probe moving down. But I don't know if it's going to be too late. The Zerg player is already working on his third base. Meanwhile, the Queens are going to be taking out this assimilator that was placed early on in the match. And in the meantime, we do see a pretty okay lead and workers from the Zerg player. Once this other base comes up, it's going to help out a lot. So he's walling this off before he puts down the Nexus, I reckon. It's going to be a shield battery right there. Going to be able to reinforce his army if the Zerg decides to attack. Not really too much else happening. We do see the Roach Warren that was placed, but we don't have any Roaches in production. He's still just making Zerglings. So that's kind of a... I don't know. Roach Warrens aren't really that expensive. But if you're not going to use it, that's one of Zerg's greatest strengths, is that it can just place the buildings down. You know, you don't have to go down a big tech tree, really, to do much. It's all basically from the hatchery, and then you just add on an extra building. So we do see +1 missiles coming out, but I think he's actually pretty good on the supply. I don't know why he hasn't made roaches yet, especially with all these stalkers coming in. The Zerglings are not going to really have that good of a time holding this. A lot of zealots coming in too, and the 1 sentry that's going to be fighting with its tickle beam. Like I said, he should have made some roaches. This is a common trap that I see a lot of Zergs fall into. One of the things that I see all the time is that Zerg needs to macro. And they need to macro really, really hard. There's the roaches finally coming out. I don't know if it's going to be enough. We have some coming down from the 3rd base, but the Protoss forces are actually coming back in. Once again, though, roaches are pretty tough units. They can deal out a decent amount of damage, and they can actually take a bunch of damage as well. But, what is that? Once again, I'm lost on the hotkeys. There's one that shows the workers that have been killed. But I digress. I'll have to find it out eventually. So we do have quite a sizable force of roaches. Should be easily able to hold off the Protoss. He did lose a queen at his 2nd base. He's actually got 2 sitting here. Yeah. That's interesting. He should, like I said, he's Silver League. So I don't really expect too much. But you want to be getting the creep to spread. He hasn't spread any creep tumors at all. And that's going to allow the Zerg units to move faster when they're on this gray stuff. Also really important, we do have an Overseer just following the roaches. No detection from our Zerg player, so he's not going to be able to see it. He could see it, technically, because you can see like the little shimmer. If we switch to the Zerg player's view, I don't know if I'm going to see it. Yeah, if you look closely... You can see when I'm moving, you can see it kind of looks a little distorted there. That's how you're able to be able to see the invisible units. You can see them better when they're moving on their own as well. It's really just something you got to train your eyes to do. But he doesn't have any detection. This drone right here could be used to make a spore crawler, which is going to be a detector and an anti-air unit. So we'd be able to take out the observer. But for now, it does look like Yoke is going to be moving in, trying to shield off a couple of the roaches, not really succeeding. The roach is able to move on and actually not... Wow. He's just walking. I actually think he could have taken that fight pretty easily if he just moved his roaches up and surrounded. But he's just pulling back, taking a lot of damage, not really dishing out a lot of damage. More roaches about to come out, but I don't know if it's going to be too late by the time... Ooh. Yeah, this is what he needs to do. Attack with... Oh, no, my friend. You're just going to lose them as they walk by. He could have moved these roaches up and attacked with these ones that were coming down here. Because right now, see, they're all going to get bunched up, and they're not actually all attacking. He needs to move them forward and get a surround so that they're all attacking. Missiles +2 just started, and we also do have the shield +1 upgrade for Protoss started, which is interesting because it must have been on the Alpha Star map, because I can't mouse over these and see them anymore, which is really weird. Not really too much, just kind of units getting thrown away. Not really too much important things happening. They can always rebuild. Both players got a decent amount of bank. Decent amount of supply. What's the worker counts looking like? Still, Zerg, 9 workers ahead. Oh, wow. He just made a whole bunch more to fill out this other base. So that's actually going to put him at quite the income advantage if we're just going to watch this for a second. 53 workers to 35. So as long as... the Protoss doesn't get too out of control. Let's see what we're looking like for production here. We got another Robo on the way. Just making more Stalkers. He could have easily taken a 3rd base by this point. I feel like he's got enough force to defend it. Could have maybe moved on to some air units. I don't know, though. 4th base on the way for the Zerg player. We also do see our 2nd missile upgrade and roach speed on the way. So our Stalkers from the red side of the Protoss player are going to be moving up into the 3rd base. of the Zerg, where they're going to be met by a bunch of roaches on creep. And like I said, the Zerg units are going to be moving faster on the creep, but he needs to stop playing this game where he just walks up and takes free damage and then walks away like that. You need to actually commit. The Zerg units are pretty inexpensive, so you are able, unfortunately, he's going to lose a lot of them. You are able to just kind of throw them at the enemy and then just make a bunch more. But if you're not actually doing any damage, they're worthless. So he's going to try to send in some Zerglings to hold it off. They are going to get cleaned up right away. Also going to be losing a bunch of these workers that were up here, sending in some more Zerglings. That is not going to help out. Unfortunately, he is going to lose the third base. However, we do see the fourth one that he placed just about to finish up. Finally, actually spreading some creep out, which is pretty good as well. He's going to need to just build up his forces, which is what it looks like he's doing, before the Protoss can actually just come in and walk right in the front door. I'm trying to chase away some of the Overlords. He is going to pick one off, but it's not going to be enough to supply block. And then we do see the remaining Zerglings that XOURCE does have run in and absolutely get decimated, forcing him to GG out of the game, leaving our red Protoss player, Yoke, as the victor. If you guys enjoyed this cast, you can leave a like on it and subscribe for some more StarCraft content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.